Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name's Claire Howard and today we're going to be doing a watch me work video. This is the first one that I have done. So we're going to start by prepping, popping on my gloves, sanitizing my client's hands. These are Builder gel nails. They've been on for around 6 weeks, I believe. So this client lives away and just comes to me when she's back in town. So to start with, we're going to be taking the length down quite dramatically. I'm using a 5-in-1 Efile piece to debulk these nails. So I'm going to go over, we're going to be removing all of that colour, and I'm also going to be taking the bulk of that Builder gel down because obviously this nail is now quite unbalanced and is going to be thicker on the ends where it's now what was the central area of the previous overlay. So I'm carefully removing this. We're making sure that the Efile piece is only ever on top of the gel. I don't want to be using this piece on the natural nail. So as I mentioned, this is my first watch me work video. I did film, this is working on an actual client in the salon, so I filmed the whole process, but I have split this down. So I'm only showing you working on one hand, and there are a few sections that I have sped up. To show the whole video as I initially intended, I just could not get that video below an hour long, which is way too long for you guys. So I've decided to just show working on the one hand. So we're just going to continue on with the removal. I love watching Efile removal. Like, I find it really therapeutic to do. I trained in Efile a few years back now, and the reason I trained in an Efile was because I got so much pain in my wrists and hands. I don't feel like I could have actually continued working as a nail tech had I not invested and trained in an Efile. It's been really worthwhile for me, and I do really enjoy using it too, which is a double bonus. So the pressure I'm applying here is really quite light and it just glides through, taking off all that bulk of gel. Again, as I mentioned before, you can see that we're only using this piece on top of the gel product that's there. We absolutely do not want this piece to be going over onto the natural nail because it will just go straight through that nail, taking away far too many layers and leaving us with ridges in the nail, which we don't want. We want nice, healthy nails under our application. So I'm also going through sort of on the end, just taking that bulk off because the extension has grown out. It's now unbalanced, and a thicker area, which would have been the central area on the nail when it was in the correct position, is now towards the end of the nail. So I want to remove that because I want a nice thin application of this gel ready to go on for our infills. So I've sped up this bit. I haven't started working really quick just to get through it because obviously we want to get on to the application process, and we're going to be finishing these nails off with a really cute swirly design too. I loved how these turned out in the end, so I can't wait to show you. I always have my dust extractor on when I'm filing, especially when using the E-file, because I don't want all of this fine dust in my breathing zone. I use a Vodex extractor, which takes all of this dust away. It keeps my work area much cleaner. I feel much happier having this in place. Extraction is an absolute essential with an E-file especially. There's so much dust that we're putting up in our air and it's not great to be breathing it in, so getting rid of that can only be a good thing. So I am dusting off these nails now. I want to get rid of all of that dust that we've got around, and now I'm going to go in with my cuticle prep. So using my pusher, I always recommend using it at about a 45-degree angle because this gets you the best grip on the nail. We are just pushing back any of that old dead skin and cuticle which has grown up the nail plate. If that's left on the nail plate, then our gel won't adhere correctly, and that is when we're going to get lifting of our product. I always have a duster brush to hand. I am regularly brushing away excess skin, dust, whatever I've got up off that nail, and that lets me see clearly where I'm working and what I need to remove and what is just sitting there loose. So using a 180-240 grit file, which is quite a light grit, I am just going to buff in any of those edges that still need smoothing off across the top of the gel and shape my free edge. Again, using that duster brush to get rid of any excess. I don't want it all sitting down in my sidewalls. It looks messy and it's going to get in my way. And again, it is all about getting that nail plate and nail area really super clean, ready for our product application. So again, going in with that cuticle pusher, I'm doing the whole of the regrowth area of that nail to make sure we get rid of any skin that's grown up the nail plate. Again, shaping, we're going for an almond shape, so I do both my sides. Then I'm just going to go over side, over the top, up the other side, getting that shaping, getting that gel that's on there nice and smooth and buff to the nail. ready to go over with our fresh gel application. So you'll notice that the bulk of the filing that we're doing again is over that existing gel product and on the ends of the nail. We're only going on the natural nail to just etch that surface ready in preparation for our gel application. We do not want to be seesawing and continuously filing over that natural nail, because removing layers of the natural nail is going to weaken it, and we want a nice strong nail under our gel. So like I said, these nails are using Lecente Builder Gel. The Lecente Builder Gel is clear, and as you can see as we are doing these infills, the benefit of using a clear builder product is that you can see the entire nail at every infill. You don't ever need to remove this product fully, because you can see the integrity and the health of the nail underneath. There is no need. With coloured builder gels, you would need to remove that fully every 2 to 3 infill applications, because you cannot see the nail underneath. And I love using a clear builder precisely for this reason. It just works so well for me. So those are all nicely buffed and filed to shape. So I'm just going to pop in with my Anastasia piece. It is just a cuticle bit on my E-file on a very low RPM. I am just tidying around the area and gently exfoliating any dead skin or cuticle which may still be on that nail plate, giving me a nice clean cuticle line and getting it ready for our gel application. This is just a very fine diamond bit, and I'm using a very, very light pressure. We don't need to apply any pressure around this area. Again, it is just that final little tidy up.
flashback starts, I'm standing there on a balcony in the summer air.
So that's all finished. Right now I am taking a plastic backed pad and I am spraying on some Lecente prep solution. I'm now going to cleanse that nail plate thoroughly. So I'm looking for a dry chalky finish. I'm wiping under the free edge because I want to get rid of any little frilly bits that have come off during filing and maybe stuck under there, and any loose dust. I'm also paying particular attention down my sidewalls because dust can sit down there and get in the way of our application. We want this nail to be really, really super clean, free of any dust, bits of fluff, nail filings, all of that needs to be gone. Okay, so I now have my gel. As you can see, there is a little frilly under there. I'm just going to get rid of that. And we are going to go on with a layer of base coat. So I need to cap that. You can either reverse cap or you can just apply your cap on by brushing lightly over the tip. I am going to work this into the nail in a scrubbing motion. I'm going to scrub that all in, again paying particular attention to my sides right up to the cuticle area. I am not putting a huge amount of product on. This is just a nice thin application of the base product. Once it's all scrubbed in, I'm going to go over and smooth that over. So repeating that process on subsequent nails. Again, like I say, just applying that cap. That was the alternative to a reverse cap. Scrubbing that nail in is just another form of adhesion, just getting the best adhesion we can with that product. As with all layers of our gel application, we want to get as close to the cuticle and the sidewall areas as we can, but we need a free margin there. We don't want to be touching any skin. Repeated skin contact with uncured gel can lead to overexposure and, in the long run, allergies, so we want to avoid that at any cost. Also, it looks messy and it will cause your product to lift. You will get a surface breakdown, and that is not what we want. So we are looking for neat, precise lines, a nice tight application, but no touching wherever possible. If you do get any bits run into the cuticle or free edges, then the best thing to do is using an A1 brush and a little bit of prep solution. Get rid of that before it goes in the lamp. It is much more difficult to correct these things once the gel is cured. So check before you cure and just correct anything straight away. On a side note, Lecente Builder Gel does not actually require a base layer. You can go straight on with the Builder Gel. Applying a base is just something I've always done and I feel comfortable doing, so I continue to do so, and it works well for me. So now we're going to go on with our builder application. So I am going to take a little bit of the gel from the neck of my bottle and I am going to gently work that down towards the cuticle area and then pull it back again. So I am just starting by putting what we call a slip layer on, so just a thin layer of the product covering the entire nail, getting that all nice and smooth and floaty before I'm going to get a little bead of my product, just a tiny amount from the neck of my bottle. I'm going to apply that to the cuticle area where I would like my apex and then just string it down along the nail. I'm not really going to do anything with that. I'm just going to let that settle and look at it under the light. I'm always looking under my light. I want to see that line of light down the nail. If you get a nice straight line without indents or bends in it, then you'll know that you've got a nice straight product application. You'll also notice that I am always checking the nail from side to side and also looking down the barrel from the free edge to check that I've got a nice even thickness across the entirety of my nail. So it's really important that you're getting that product in the right place, that you've got the desired thickness and that everything is just as you want it to be before you go in the lamp. So I work 2 fingers on one hand and then 2 fingers on the other hand when I'm doing Builder Gel. I find this is just the right amount of time to let my gel settle in the right place without getting any runs anywhere I don't want them. So again, as you can see, we're just getting that first layer on. We're getting up nice and neat and tight to the cuticle area and down the side walls without touching. We don't want runs of gel there. It makes it really difficult to refine and file. Also, as mentioned before, the skin contact is going to cause lifting, and worse still, we just don't want to cause our clients to become irritated by our products. So it's not designed to go on the skin. Keep it off. You can get a nice precise application. Just take your time and don't rush, and don't go on with too much product. If you can look, I've got quite a minimal amount of product from the neck of my bottle, which is a good note to add. With this clear gel, you'll notice it's lovely and transparent and clear, and there are hardly any air bubbles in there. You might get the occasional one. But if you are to pump that brush in and out of that bottle to get product from the bottom of the bottle, you're going to create air bubbles, which is why I tend to work primarily just from sort of the neck of my bottle. So I'm scooping the product out, not pumping my brush in and out to get it. Again, just going over and checking these 2 nails that I've just applied. You can see as I move it, we're getting a nice straight line of light. So I'm happy with those to go in and cure. Just going to finish off with the thumb. Again, on with that slip layer, all over the nail, nice and tight to the cuticle and side walls, and then just a small amount creating our apex and area of strength down the center of the nail. So again, I'm using my prep solution on a plastic backed wipe. Please note how using this, we are only wiping over the nail plate and not all the way up the finger. We don't want to be rubbing uncured product up onto our client's skin. Okay, so I'm now going to go on and refine these. I always tend to start with shaping my free edge, just going over that shape, going down the side walls, making sure I haven't got any bulges out. I tend to file up each side around the cuticle area and then just smooth out over the top of the nail. You're refining around your cuticle area, be sure to hold your file again at kind of about a 45-degree angle. You don't want to go in and flatten out that apex and shape that you have put into the nail. So just be aware of that. And this is refining. We're not removing a bulk of product here. We shouldn't have loads that need removing. Also, as I'm filing, I'll make sure that I check. Again, looking down the barrel, I'll look from the side so you can see your curve across the top of the nail and check from all angles. This is going to ensure that you don't get to the end and realise that your nails are wonky or thicker on one side than the other, just to get that nice even shape that we want. So make sure you check as you go. Again, like most things, it's easily corrected as you're going along, much easier than getting to the end and having to correct everything all in one go. As you can see, I still have my handy duster brush in hand. I literally could not live without these things. So it's just so much easier to refine or do whatever you are doing with a clear nail plate. So get rid of that dust, get it out of your way, and then you'll be able to see what you're doing much more easily. Like I say, I literally couldn't live without these. I get them from Amazon. They're really pretty cheap, nice and easy to sanitize and clean. So I'll pop the link to those in the comments box, because if you haven't got something similar, you really need them. They've got nice stiff bristles, so they get rid of everything. I love them. So again, we've finished filing, so we've dusted off all the dust. I'm going on with my plastic backed pad with some prep solution on, and again, removing all of the dust from under the nail and down those side walls, ready to go on with my colour. The colour I am using today is Romeo, and this is one of my favourites because it is a lovely sheer natural nude pink. It's sort of a semi-sheer. I say sheer, it has some sheerness to it, but it's also a little bit opaque. So it's not a full creamy opaque colour, but it is slightly sheer and it is really beautiful. This colour is so popular, and actually this bottle is nearly empty, so you might see me scraping the sides a little. So I've just cleaned up a bit that went over my edge here using my A1 brush. A1 brush is a brush from Lecente, but it is just an angled gel brush. So it's got just like the right shape bristles. So if you need to clean up around the edges, it's perfect. So again, make sure you're checking. You want that product up. I want to get it nice up and tight to my cuticle line and close to the side walls. But again, keeping that free edge, because as soon as that gel touches one of the edges, it just ruins the appearance of your gel manicure. And again, the most important reasons for not doing this is we don't want repeated skin contact with uncured gel, and also it will peel if it's touching the skin. It's just unsightly and not professional. Love a really neat gel polish application, and I love these brushes on the Lecente polish. If you can see in here, they are slightly rounded, so they are just perfect for butting that product right up and getting in a nice, neat, rounded line around your cuticle. They're amazing. So every layer, as you can see, I am capping my gel. The reason I do this is you don't get a lot of shrinkage with the Lecente colours, but it ensures that you're not getting any shrinkage away from the edges. When my nails are finished, it gives a nice professional clean look to have all of the ends painted and in colour, and most importantly, it prevents chipping and this gel coming away from the tips of my nails. So those are the reasons I cap. So going on with the second layer now, and you can see that colour of Romeo coming through. Like the difference between one coat and two coat is quite immense. Like the pigment in there is great. As you can see, it's just that gorgeous creamy pinky nude. Hands down, this is probably the colour I use the most, because I use it as a base for most of like my swirly nail art designs. I use it for all my French, and it's just super popular on its own because like the clean girl look, the nude nails are still really quite on trend. So yeah, I need to get a new bottle of this ordered, because as you can tell, we are right down to the bare bones of that bottle. Okay, so now we're finished with that second application of gel. I'm going to pop those into cure, and I'm just getting my colours ready for our design. So it's a swirly nail art design that we are doing, and I'm going to be using my S1 brush to apply this. I do always work on a couple of fingers on each hand and then flash cure those or pop them in the lamp while I work on the other hand. So on we go with our first swirl. Just going to follow that down and then flick off the end. I want the top of my line to be thicker, so I'm just going over that top part of the line. So we're using quite a lot of colours in this design, and they are sort of randomly being placed on different swirls on different nails. I'm not going to lie, when we started this, I don't really know where I'm going with it, so I am making it up as I go along, and that is fine because nail art is free hand and free license, and all we're aiming for is some coloured pastel swirls. We're doing the same on both hands, so I'm just going to go with it. I'm going to pop my blue swirls on first, and then I'm going to pop these into Cure and see what we're going to go on with next. So I popped those into Cure and repeated the pattern on the other hand. Repeating the pattern on the other hand and reversing your design is the hardest thing about a swirl nail art design. So I'm now going on with some baby pink. This is Cotton Candy. It's a real cute, and it literally is candy floss pink. Very, very pretty. So I have butt this swirl right up next to the baby blue one, again going for the line thicker at the end and into a thinner line. Now I'm going to pop a little swirl in the baby pink onto my ring fingers. This one's going the whole length of the nail. Again, like I say, these are all random, different places on the nail, different colours on each nail. So it's quite a funky design. Now going on with a bit of lemon. This is Squeeze the Day. It's a real nice lemony colour. Again, I am following my initial swirl with my next swirl, except I am making the thick end of the swirl at the opposite end. So my pink line went thick to thin from the base to the tip, and my lemon line is going thick to thin from the tip downwards, if that makes sense. So just to show you, when I'm using my S1 brush, I run it through my colour several times to make sure that the brush is fully lined with my colour. I want that colour to be all the way through the brush and not just a blob on the end. That makes my brush a lot easier to use, and it also means I can use the full length of the brush. If I had a big blob on the end, when you apply it on the nail, you just go straight on with a big blob. So be sure to do this. A lot of people don't, and that is where I see problems come up with applying fine lines. So just load that brush up, give it a go. It will make life so much easier. So we're going on now with a lovely greeny colour, adding some more swirls. Our design is building now. It's always quite satisfying when it starts to come together from a blank canvas. This design probably took 15 to 20 minutes to apply after my nails were finished. So obviously I'm going to say, I always say it, please do make sure that you have brackets and you are charging for your nail art services. They don't come as standard. They take so much extra time, extra training and extra product. So please, please, please don't miss out on charging for your nail art. Adding a little bit of gold glitter to finish this design off. I'm using a gold glitter gel, which is called West End, again, obviously from Lecente. The glitter just finishes this design off. It is super, super pretty and I love it. Just while we're finishing this design off, guys, if I can ask you to pop me a little comment on the video, comment anything that you found helpful, anything you'd like to see in the future. I'd really love your feedback on what I'm putting up. Because obviously the whole point in doing it is that it helps some of you guys in some ways. So yeah, if you do have any feedback for me, if you've enjoyed the video or if there's anything you'd like to see in the future, I'd really like to hear your comments. Also, on that note, if you have enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a little like and subscribe to the channel. I'm just now going through, finishing the design off, adding a few more swirly bits in where we want them and finishing the design. So we've got quite a few colours on each nail. I think this is a real fun, quirky design for the summer. I am always a fan of swirls. I just think they're super pretty and I really enjoy doing them. I find nail art really therapeutic. So just finishing off my design and I'm going to pop that in the lamp and fully cure. Now I'm going on with my top coat, making sure that I add my cap because I want to keep that design and everything we've done nice and safe and sealed in there. My top coat is the protective layer. This is the layer that is strongest to the outside world. Get my words out. Strongest to the outside world. It's not porous. It's going to protect what is underneath. So we want to make sure that we take the time to get this layer on really nice and smooth. Get right up to those cuticles and sidewalls and make sure there are no skin touches. And just watch that top coat look amazing and shiny and gorgeous. Top coat just pulls the whole design together. I mean, it looks good before you put the top coat on, but the top coat just pulls it all together in a way it just would not be if it didn't have that layer over it. I don't know about you, I mean, I done these nails, but I could still sit and watch this all day, just watching the brush and the painting. Weirdly satisfying, don't you agree? Coat is fully cured. Again, I have my plastic back pad, this time with some finishing wipe on it. And as I said before, I'm just wiping over the nail area and cleaning under that free edge to remove any inhibition layer that may be left on my product. Just to finish off my service, I will then apply my cuticle oil. I always finish all my clients with cuticle oil. Cuticle oil, by the way, really good retail product. Your clients should all have it. They need it. So while you are applying this and massaging it in, show them and tell them how they need to apply it and why they need to apply it and how often they need to apply it. 9 out of 10 times you will make a sale here and they will continue to purchase this from you. So it's a great tip for retail. I always finish with a dry lint wipe. I buff those nails up because the oil can leave them looking obviously all oily and a bit dull. So I'll polish that up with my wipe, making sure my client leaves the salon with gorgeous, shiny, finished nails. So I hope you've enjoyed this Watch Me Work video, and here is the finished result.